Hi guys, Chris here with Super Savvy Travelers. Hey, first of all, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Secondly, if you're buying a house in Italy, you need our course and check into what we offer as far as our website and stuff and our services. You might need some help in that area. Anyway, I also want to thank you guys for watching that video on the expats in Italy and blah, blah, blah. It's crazy. It's just gone nuts. And the number of comments is off the charts, which I love. I love your comments. Why? Because it tells me what's on your mind. It tells me what kind of worries and anxieties and what kind of knowledge you need and that kind of thing. And I noticed in the comments, because I look at them all, I noticed a lot of questions on the driver's license and a lot of anxiety around driving in Italy. It's a big deal. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do a whole video on that. We're going to take a deep dive, guys. And I'm going to break it into chapters so that you can skip over the ones you don't want to see. The first part is going to have to do with tourists and people who have vacation homes in Italy, or maybe do the Schengen shuffle, where they're in 90 days and they're out 90 days and that kind of thing. That's kind of puts you in the, as far as driving goes, it puts you in the tourist category. So we're just going to call it that. So as a tourist, the most important thing you need to know is that you need to get an international driving permit. Now, I've heard people go, yeah, I've never been asked. We've never been asked either, but when you are, you need to have it. And why is that? Because you can be refused a rental car. Your insurance might not be valid if you get in a crash and you don't have one. And you can be fined by the Carabinieri from anywhere between 78 euros to 311 euros if you don't have one. And your car can be impounded. Ooh, that could be expensive if it's a rental car. So how do you get it? It's so easy to get. And really, all you need is your driver's license, because the IDP is not its own driver's license. It's basically a validation and perhaps a translation of your regular driver's license from the state where you're from. So bring your driver's license, bring your passport. I don't recall if we were ever asked for one, but I always bring it anyway. Bring 20 bucks and put on some makeup because they're going to take your picture. And then you're 20 minutes later, you're out the door with your international driver permit. It's good for a year and you're good to go. Now, again, we've never been asked. In fact, the last time we rented a car in Chiusi, when we first got to Tuscany, the guy just ignored it altogether, but don't count on that. Now, another thing, driving in Italy, a couple of really quick tips, and I see this all throughout Italy. First of all, there's not a whole lot of turn signals being used from what I've seen. Okay, maybe I have not been noticing them, but from where I've been living in Italy, there's not a whole lot of turn signals used. And, things that make you look like, oh my gosh, this is not good, are normal. Passing on curves and hills and things like that. I've seen a lot of that. Be careful. It's not unusual to see headlights coming right at you, and be ready to squeeze over. There's a lot of squeezing over, especially in these two-lane highways like the SS18 down in Calabria that goes down to Reggio Calabria. It's a two-lane road. There's a lot of squeezing over. Now, if somebody comes up behind you, maybe flicks their light or maybe just sits on your bumper like that, they're kind of asking you, please squeeze over because I want to pass. And the polite thing is to squeeze over into the bushes as much as you can without, ending up in the bushes, and let them pass. Now, when somebody's in front of you and they're driving like 2 miles an hour, which I've seen, they will sometimes squeeze over and it's like, please pass me. I don't want to be stressed out with you on my bumper. So that's something to look out for. And if you really observe the rules of the road and flow with them, you're going to find out that you really can do a lot better than you think. People have a thing about driving in Italy. I think part of it is because they don't know the unspoken rules in that. They also are afraid of driving sticks sometimes, and especially on the Italian hills. Get one and just work with it until you're really comfortable on all Italian roads. I'm sorry, but that's a necessary thing, especially in Calabria. Even in Tuscany, we've been on some pretty hairy roads. And if you're driving a stick and you're not familiar with it, your armpits could get pretty hot. I say that from experience. So there is that. Another thing is you want to watch out for these limited traffic zones, specifically Florence. Now, a lot of the towns have these limited traffic zones. Just be very aware of them. And sometimes they're well marked, sometimes they're not. Sometimes an area you wouldn't think would have them do. My advice, when you go into a big city, or especially Florence, there's right out by the freeway there's a big parking lot, and then the tramvia will take you in. Leave your car at a train station just outside of Florence or just outside of wherever, and take the train in and then just work from there with public transport. It's not worth it. Try to drive in Rome. Naples, driving in Naples is crazy. Driving in Florence is crazy, not because of the drivers, but because of all the weirdness, you know, and the things you don't know. Give yourself a break, give yourself a breather, relax and enjoy your vacation by not trying to drive in these big cities. To me, it's just not worth it. And parking's pretty nasty to try to find as well. And you don't want to end up with parking tickets. You don't want to end up with multas, fines for driving in the limited traffic zones. So that's my advice for you guys. I think you'll have a much better time if you do that. Driving apps and GPS. If you order your GPS with your rental car, you're going to pay an extra 10 to 15 euros per day for the GPS. But if you want to skip the apps and the maps and all that other nonsense, check out Tripiamo. Really, for the price of maybe a couple of days of just your minimal weird GPS in a rental car, you can have Tripiamo. Check it out.
Heading to Italy? Most travelers end up cramped in tourist spots, missing the true essence of the country. But with a road trip, it's possible to break free from the crowds, escape tour buses, and truly explore, giving you the freedom to see more and go off the beaten path. Although a GPS helps with directions, driving on Italian roads can still be intimidating. That's where Tripiamo comes in. Forget random, unreliable internet advice. Tripiamo is the only video driving guide created by travel pros and reviewed by European driving schools. It's your key to confident driving anywhere in Italy. In just 1 hour, Tripiamo covers it all. Road signs, rules, parking, roundabouts, emergencies, avoiding tickets and fines, and so much more. On top of that, we also provide virtual driving practice, so you know exactly what to expect before you get to Italy. All accessible anywhere, anytime, on any device. For your Italian road trip, let us show you how to drive like a local. Get your guide today and get ready for an incredible adventure.
Okay, good. So that's for the tourists. That's pretty much will take care of you if you're a tourist or you're doing the Schengen Shuffle. Now, for those of you who want to be in Italy, after a year of residency, you must have an Italian driver's license in order to drive. So for the first year, you know, you can be studying, which you should be, and getting ready to take your exam and everything else. Now, if you are pulled over for not having an Italian driver's license, let's say you're driving around, you've been a resident for longer than a year and you're driving around without one, here's what can happen. You can get a fine, which is between 159 euros to 639 euros, which they reduce if paid within 5 days. They do that on all multas. Basically, if you pay them sooner, you get a little discount. Another thing is the police can confiscate your foreign driver's license on the spot. So they could take your California driver's license and you don't get it back until you get your Italian driver's license. Ooh, that's nasty. I don't want that. Your car can be towed and impounded, especially if no other valid driver present. If it's an intentional or repeat offense, possible misdemeanor. And you get an automatic deduction from your Italian driver's license when you get one. So basically, when you get your Italian driver's license, it's kind of loaded up. It's like a bank card. It's kind of loaded up with points, 20 points, right? And then if you get multas and things like that, the points go ding, 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 ding. Pretty soon you get 0. You're not allowed to drive anymore. This one can cost you 10 points and you haven't even got your driver's license yet. So you need to get your Italian driver's license for sure. You can be prohibited from renewing or getting an Italian driver's license if you do it repeatedly. So you can't do that. You got to get your driver's license. Now the sticking point is that so many people don't speak enough Italian to take the test, and you cannot have an interpreter. So if you're a resident of Italy and your country does not have reciprocity laws, like for example, the EU, of course, anywhere in the EU, if you have an EU passport, you're good. The EEA plus Switzerland, United Kingdom, Japan, South Korea, San Marino, and Vatican City. Everybody else needs to get an Italian driver's license. No. So there you go. Now let's look at some of these other things about the Italian driver's license. There are online driving schools that you study everything online. There's one in Scalea that Pete's going to. We're trying to get the manual so he likes to do stuff with the manual. I would imagine you can get manuals online and whatnot. But you can take all this stuff online is my point. And it seems relatively simple. I've heard, you know, while we're sitting together working, I've heard his class, and I'm like, okay, this seems relatively easy. Now, the Italian driver's license, there's a whole bunch of classifications, just like in California, but what we're going to be looking at really for people that just want to be residents, you want to drive your car, we're Patente B, okay? Now, the first 3 years as a new driver's license owner or holder is Neopatente, which means new license. You are limited to the type of car you can drive, okay? And you're limited on speeds and things like that. That's not as important as buying the correct car or leasing or whatever for the first 3 years. Like if you buy, say, a Fiat XL or whatever, you can't drive it for the first 3 years. The ones you can drive, I asked Grok specifically for the Fiats that you can drive. A lot of them are these electric ones or these, you know, hybrid ones. They're a little less stringent, so you might have a better idea of, if you get a hybrid, for example, you might be able to get a bigger car, maybe a stronger car. And if it's a hybrid, it's a little bit less stringent. I think they want to encourage you to get hybrids and things like that. So that's something you can do. Another option, which I thought was really cute, there is a Category AM. Category AM lets you drive mopeds and electric microcars. Now, all you need that is you need the theory. You don't need a practical exam. You don't need a car or anything like that. You just take the theory exam. And if you can get through that, you can drive these microcars like the Fiat Topolino, which is so cute. I love that car. It's this tiny little thing, you know, it's called Topolino, little mouse, right? And that's pretty much what it is. Obviously, it's not going to be a cruiser, but it's an option. You know, you can get that. You do need to be a resident to get that, though. Patente B, cars, light vans, up to 8 passengers and that kind of thing. So that's pretty good. Now, what can you drive? You can drive a Fiat Panda 1.0, a Fiat Firefly 70 CV. I don't know what that is. I've never seen one. Pandas are what I love. The Fiat, little Fiats, you know, the Pandas and that kind of thing. The ones you cannot drive are like the Fiat 500, the Fiat Tipo, you know, the bigger, more luxurious. And absolutely, you cannot drive the Fiat 500 Abarth, although I would give my eye teeth to have one of those. It would be really, really, really nice. Yeah, so don't even think about doing that. So for the first 3 years, you're going to have to drive a Panda or something like that. They're great cars. I love my Panda. I bought one, you know, after our unfortunate car incident in Calabria, which at some point I'll tell you all about. Anyway, we had an unfortunate incident in Calabria, and we bought this little Panda, and we paid like 8,000 euros. It was used. The thing starts up every single time. Everybody knows how to work on it. Everybody can get any kind of work on it done in a day. And it just is wonderful for the little tiny streets. You know, it's like driving a go-kart, but like a comfortable go-kart. It's very, very cool. I really like mine. So there you go. I hope that answers all your questions on the driver's license and that kind of thing. I know there's so much to it. I wanted to give you the important data that you need if you're going to be a resident or even if you're going to be a tourist. So I hope this helps you guys. Please keep commenting. I get all of my ideas from you. Take care, guys.